We'll talk about that.
It's quite fun. Hello everybody, my name's Ian, this is Jason, and we're doing the Sinners Review podcast. So this is, what number are we? That's the question. I suppose I should look up. Anyway,
13, probably unlucky 13.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to my YouTube channel to have a look to see what it actually says. So the last one was done with Steve. Because your surrogate, the replacement bus service, as I called him, bless him, when you couldn't go to Estetica Film Festival. So that was podcast 15, which I did with Steve.
That was 15. Oh, wow, okay.
So we're on. This is number 16. I should be prepared, shouldn't I? But I'm not. Anyway, it's a Sunday morning.
Half the fun.
And hopefully I'll try and get it out for tomorrow for Monday. So we're talking about music and what we've done, and we're having a proper catch up to some extent because we've not seen much of each other, have we? Although we did see on Friday, and then we're going to have a main topic, which is going to be what triggered it was Jane showed me the article of the BBC in the Midlands choosing choosing an AI artist, but I think it's a bigger issue than that. So we'll get on to that, and then we'll have the usual things like we can even have some cinnamon bun chat because I've been eating some cinnamon buns.
Oh, there you go. You can stock it up.
Yeah. So let's start with how's your month been, rather than how's your week been or fortnight?
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? November been and done. It's like 1st of December tomorrow. So we haven't done this in November, have we?
Christmas is coming.
So yeah, no, good. We've been playing lots of gigs. We held our own kind of EMON Plus. We called it Brutronica.
So you said lots of gigs. So playing devil's advocate, because that's normally your role. So for those people that have never heard us or seen us before, who have you playing gigs with? Plug.
It's a good point. So yeah, Sona Vida, electronic duo, very much kind of up-tempo dance music, trying to get people up on their feet.
And you do it so successfully, I can say, having seen you plenty of times.
Well, we've had quite a run of gigs actually. We're gig free at the moment for December, which is actually a bit of a relief. We can get on and write stuff. It's it's pretty hard when your weekends are. It's not hard. I'll take that back. It's not hard. It's great fun, but there's not a lot of time to do anything else when you're holding down a regular job.
Yeah.
And in the weekend, you're loading up your car, driving an hour and a half, setting up, waiting around, playing your gig, driving back, getting back at 2 a.m. It is great fun. It's just hard juggling it all. So a few things we set up our own event in Bruton. We called it Brutronica.
I couldn't come. I couldn't come because Jane had bought some tickets for a play that was happening in Frome, which is quite. Otherwise, I would have come across. We went to this one-man play about a taxi driver, which the actor was good, but it was a bit like that, if I'm honest. But it wasn't a recommendation. But she'd got the tickets, so it's fine. So
we held an event in lieu of setting up an EMOM in Bruton. It was we called it an EMOM Plus. So we had two other acts along with us. We had a guy called Dub Kaiser. He played at the Bournemouth Palace Theatre one. So we met him there and we really liked his vibe. He basically turned up with a little teenage engineering pocket calculator thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's another little tiny device, and he just makes the sound he gets from those little devices is
amazing,
amazing,
aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. They're just he's got very electronic dub, just really hard hitting. So we thought he came from Southampton, to be fair to him. We thought we've got to play with him. So he played up first. And then there's a guy called Moat. We've seen him at Wells EMOM.
Guitar, really good artist, actually.
Yeah.
Really good. I like his stuff.
He was really good. He was kind of pretty epic what he's doing. He's very kind of film scorey, but industrial, heavy, visual with his guitars. He's really into the set. So that was really good. So both guys got a half-hour set. We had a DJ playing vinyl in between that was complementing the sort of sound and the vibe. And then we played about 45 minutes at the end.
Great.
So it was pretty good. Quite a few people there. It was in Octopus Studios in Bruton, which is they often have gigs. They usually have like a gig about once a month, and it usually works pretty well. So we're going to try and do another one in the spring. We'll try and do 3 or 4 a year and try and give people an opportunity that are on the the EMOM circuit. You usually get 15 minutes, whereas if you can do a breakout and get maybe a 30-minute set, it allows people just to for their set to kind of grow and go through kind of ups and downs rather than when you're just getting in and getting it done in 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll do another one, February, March, probably March as we get into spring, I think. So that was pretty good. We've done a couple of EMOMs as well. Bournemouth EMOM has moved now. It's in a pub called the Four Horsemen. It's pretty close to where they held it.
Yeah, yeah.
They did their first one there in November. It's downstairs in a room. It's a good enough size room. It's a little bit smaller than the place they had before, but it's set out better. It's got a stage area. It's got all the lighting in place. It's got a PA already in place. I thought the sound system was very good, actually. So that's going to be their new home, the Four Horsemen. It's a really good venue. It's a smaller stage set, so they've only got one table.
Right.
But I actually found that works. They had a guy DJing who was an E-mommer himself, DJ. It was Nitram, his artist name is, and he DJ'd. And he actually worked quite well because you had somebody played 15 minutes, then you had 15, 20 minutes of tunes, again, that were all electronic, complementing the night. And then somebody else came along and played. And I thought it was a bit better, actually. It was a bit more relaxed than the usual table turnover. You've only got 5 minutes to set up, and if you've got any issues, you're holding
stressful.
Everybody.
Yeah, it is quite stressful.
So the one table works well because there's a DJ playing, so people are up and dancing, or they go in the bar or go in the loo. And if you have got some technical queries, it doesn't really matter because people are being entertained by the DJ in the room anyway. And it felt really good. I think, and that's going to be their new place. So look out for that and see if you can get on it. It'd be good.
Yeah, it's getting over there. I mean, it's great if you're going, but trying to get, I can't always guarantee to have access to the car, which is a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah, I mean, keep an eye open and apply for the next
and
one.
The guys over there
I tend to go to support. Yeah, they are. They're well into it. They're very good.
Yeah.
They always film it as well, and they always put it up, so it's good.
It's a good night.
Yeah, so we played some other stuff. We played a gig in Bournemouth. I don't know why we keep gravitating to Bournemouth, but we played at a place called Chaplin's, the Cellar Bar. That's again downstairs. It's a music venue. They've got music on every night of the week. We played there. It was a Monday night before payday. Horrible weather.
Was the gig paid?
No.
All right.
No.
Okay. So it's promotion then.
Yeah, it's promotional. So there was 3 other acts on before us. Again, like-minded. It was electronics. I think I said to you before, there was 4 guys with a little sampler, MK5. Was it MK5?
Yeah.
So 4 guys all round a table, all had the same sampler, a little mini sampler with little pads. You could sample. There was sampling on the night.
Yeah.
They had loads of pedals, but basically, they'd kind of worked out what they were playing, but it was largely improvised. They played half an hour of these improvised tracks. It was really good, actually, really, really good. You can just tell they're vibing off each other, feeding off each other. They all play a different role. That was really good. It was good to see them. By the time we came on, it was about 11 o'clock. It thinned out a bit. But the people that were there were up and dancing, to be fair, which was good. It's always good if you can get strangers. It was passing trade of strangers. Nobody knew us, but, we got them up and dancing and stuff. So that's why you do it, right?
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. So, yeah, that was it, really. Just piling in gigs in November. We had kind of 4 gigs, which was good. So, 2 in one weekend, which was good.
We're now looking for gigs, so it probably won't be till New Year. But so my month started with going to Breeze Block Beats on the 1st of November, which was back in Frome. They don't do them. I think the next one's going to be sometime maybe in February.
They do. They do brand it as a regular, don't they?
Yeah, but it's not that regular. It's something to do with something to do with the moon, I think Stuart was saying. Anyway, I had a quick chat with him. He said I'd come to do because Ken played, who runs the EMOB
Wells
with James. He did a really good set, and it was a good night, really. So Jane and I went to that, but I want to try and play it again. I'll play it as a solo because it's more experimental than the pop stuff I'm doing with Louise. actually, here's a bit of a rant. I bought some tickets just after that for Semantics, who was playing the Cheese and
Treehouse, was it?
Treehouse, the Cheese and Grain second venue, and the gig I went to last night, which I get onto. What my rant is that the Cheese and Grain now charge £2 booking fee per ticket. So I bought 4 tickets, which it was another £8, which is quite a lot. I mean, I don't mind paying a booking fee if you buy, So normally the way you do it is maybe it's £3 booking fee on the whole of the sale that you're doing, but £8 extra seemed a bit expensive, So £60 worth of tickets became £70 worth of tickets.
Is that because they just want that to cover their admin? So does 100% of the ticket cost go to the artist?
I don't know, because and I wasn't able to go to the Cheese and Grain annual general meeting as a member, and actually as a member, so you pay to be a member. So shouldn't members get a discount on that? Do you know what I mean? It's sort of,
that's fair. That's fair. There's no perk for that.
It is something to bring up in the future. I may drop them an email and say that it just didn't see. It felt a bit like being ripped off, and the Cheese and Grain is not the venue that I would normally feel that I purposefully didn't buy them online because I thought, it's £2 a ticket. I'll go into the box office. I was going into town. I went in the box office and it was just the same. And the guy, I wasn't going to have a go at the guy behind the box office. It wasn't his fault, but he was, But obviously, it's become a bit of an issue because he said, "Do you really want to still buy him?" Then I went, "Yeah, I'll buy him." Anyway, so rant aside, went to the pictures with Jane. And actually, no, I went on my own because I asked you if you wanted to go. I think it was middle of the week, wasn't it? So this was the Froome Film Club. I went to see a German film called The Teacher's Lounge from, I think, the last couple of years. Really good little film, actually. Fantastic little film. Definitely worth seeing. We released the Azimuth Tilt album on all streaming services on the 14th. You did the promo thing to all press for that. Except it's not on Grotify. It's not on Spotify. And
you've deselected.
We also deselected Israel, but that's a whole another Israel, and so not getting political. But so actually interesting. I saw an article. A load more artists are doing exactly the same thing, including Paul.
Yes, there's a bit of momentum.
There's a bit of a thing, while there's this, genocide going on. I've bought stuff. Some of it some of it you don't. I bought this.
The Rhythm and Ting.
The Rhythm and the Ting. My Ting's down here.
Nice. How are you getting on with it?
It's fab. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I quite liked I like the original one, but you've got the original one. And I quite like the medieval.
Right here.
But
right here. You can't see because of the blurring.
Yeah. The medieval one just seemed a little too left field, whereas that, I know you can swap stuff out of it. I haven't spent an awful lot of time on it, and I will need to get my head around it. I quite like the workflow. The workflow is quite good, because it was superseded by this thing that turned up on the 20th. So the new MPC Live 3.
Oh, okay, you've gone MPC. Okay, that's what you're chatting to Dave about because he's in the MPC ecosystem.
He definitely is. I mean, it's an interesting workflow. Actually, it's going to take me quite a long time to really get my head around it. There's so much going on. I mean, fundamentally, it is a computer in a box, but the idea being that we, certainly for what I'm doing with Louise in Look Stranger, is the idea that we put all the songs as a set into that, and maybe me have a keyboard or something else. But then we want it so that it doesn't just play. We want it so I can chop it up into choruses, verses, and so we can move stuff around. So that's the plan. But literally, it turned up last week. So I've had it for 9 days. So there was no way I was going to play on the gig on Friday night. It was just too early.
Sure. So have you got a 1-in, 1-out policy, or?
Yeah, well, I'd already sold the stuff. So I'd sold. Right. I'd sold the little ambient zero thing that I really couldn't get on with. It didn't fit. It sounded very digital and didn't really fit with anything else. And so I sold that. I also sold the teenage engineering, the Soma Pulsar drum machine. Couldn't get on with that, really. It was weird and wonderful to some extent, but it was a little bit too like modular for me. So and so that pretty much funded this, you know. And there's a couple of other things. I had some MIDI boxes which I just haven't yet. I bought a new MIDI interface for the whole studio, but I had a lot of MIDI boxes which I've had for probably 20 years, some of them, and one of them went for like £100. So all of that stuff added to it. So yeah, 1 in, 1 out policy. So I ain't buying anything else for a while. Although I did buy this actually as well. This is purely and simply, this is a cheap, nasty turntable, right? Purely for basically putting things into the MPC, not MPE.
Yep.
Because, and it will do 78. So I have got some 78. So if I want to sample anything, I'll use that rather than using my proper turntable, because I'm not going to play anything on it. I'm just going to sample into it, you know. 15,
and you can sample into you can use the Rhythm&Ting for that as well.
Exactly. I can use almost anything. That was £15 on eBay.
Happy date.
The guy I think he'd bought it, done his records, and then decided to flog it on. So even the stylus is pretty good. So couldn't go to your Brutonica thing, which I wanted to. I did a talk for an organisation called Open Scotland, who mainly deal with classical musicians and artists, but they asked me to do a 1 hour talk via Zoom, and the topic was navigating the online digital world for composers and artists. So I won't be putting the talk I actually gave up. That's for them, because they've paid me for that, or they're going to pay me for that. So that was a paid gig. But I did a couple of practices, so I'll put one of the practices up, but I'm going to leave it a month or so, really let them distribute the presentation and all that first, and then in about a month or so I'll put that up on the YouTube channel. I've rebranded the YouTube channel as Sinners Music Records, although it's still at Ian J. Cole, but actually it is now branded finally as Sinners Music.
Okay.
What else have I done? And actually, it was quite scary that it was 45 minutes plus 15 minutes of Q&A. And I did get the...
Go all right? Was you happy with it?
It went really well, yeah. It was an audience of about 20 odd, I think. And then they have a fortnightly, just a 1 hour lunchtime coffee chat thing. And I ended up, because people that had missed it, they were talking about it, so I ended up sort of having to cover some of the ground again. But, you know, for those people that didn't get to actually attend, but it was free. It was free for people to attend, you know. I've just finished working on a film project, which has been paid as well. Not a lot of money, but enough. And very sweetly, the people that I did it for, they gave me a bottle of wine as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, so...
That's some local dudes, or can't you say
they were
yet?
from Southampton.
Okay.
So yeah. So then I went to see Semantics again at the Treehouse, which was part of the tickets thing. I mean, he's really, really good. He's great actually, because he sort of samples and then it's rap, but he does it with a ukulele. Now, you know, I'm not into rap particularly.
And sound like a normal marriage, ukulele and rapping.
It does work, and he's really, really good. You know, and he raps about his mental health, and you know, it's quite personal, and he's very funny. You know, he did say at the beginning, it's almost like doing stand-up now. He says, I'm trying to talk less in between songs. And he builds the track up there and then, which is quite interesting to see. And I did go and have a look at his rig, and it's massive. There's loads of looping pedals and stuff going on. You know, it's incredibly complicated. And that sort of looping thing, normally the songs sort of sound almost too repetitive. But with him, he doesn't do that. You know, he has got choruses, he's got breaks, he's got, you know, verses. So it is proper song structure in a way. And the albums, I bought bought 2 albums. That's his latest one, which is Polishing Words. His brother, apparently, he was going to call it Polishing Turds, but his brother told him to change it. And then...
it makes you think of Polishing Turds anyway. I guess that's the point, right? It's a play on it.
Yeah, so I bought that at the gig, and then I realised that I've been listening to this album, which is his album from last year, called Not My Cup of Tea, more on Apple Music. So I bought that through his Bandcamp, but he's great, actually. He's fantastic.
Where's he from?
He's from Exeter.
Okay.
So not a million miles away from in the southwest. So and so I highly recommend if anybody gets a chance to see him up and down the country. He's great, really. And then we get to Friday night, which was the debut gig of Look Stranger with Louise. You were in the audience. How did it go?
Yeah, it was good. Interestingly, it was her. You said it was the first time she's sung live.
Yeah, she does drama, and she's sung it
So
in
there's
musicals.
sometimes singing there. Okay,
but she's the first time she sang on her own. We didn't really have time. We only had really two proper rehearsals. Once we'd got the slot, so we didn't have time to do any backing vocals because we will work on that going forward. And we did 3 songs with obviously with the sample bits as well. The first one was played completely live by me with lots of having to switch stuff around and that. And then the other 2 were.
I know that I've heard that first one before.
Yeah,
that's an old tune from Katie and the Questions.
Yeah, it is. It's done in a very different way, and I don't know quite whether we're going to start working on recording that now. It may end up different again as a finished version, but and I ended up having to use 2 keyboards. One because the bottom keyboard was doing drums and bass, and the top keyboard was doing everything else to some extent, really, And then we did a completely new one, which was Broken, which will be our first single, which will be out probably about February time, I think. Okay. We've got to finish it.
Have you written that together?
No, I wrote it with Kirsty, who was the last Katie and the Questions singer, but we never ever performed it, and it never got. She just sang on the demo, so she wrote the lyrics, and then obviously, Louise has done her own thing. She's changed the melody slightly, which is fine, and I did say to her that she could, do that. There is another song which has got an incomplete lyric, and I'm going to send that over to Louise so that she can finish the second verse. So it's got a first verse and a chorus, but there's no second verse. So that's going forward, really. And then we did a cover of Talk Talk. That was her idea to do that. So that was all done with MIDI, and then I got the sounds from, most of them were the Arturia sounds, the Arturia synths, that came pretty close to the originals. I didn't listen to it that closely, but I thought, this sounds a bit like this. It sounds a bit like the original, and then played piano over the top of it, played electric piano over the top of it, which But I want to be able to. We'll keep that in the set, but I want to be able to chop it up so that we can have other bits rather than it just be very linear as it was.
Yeah.
It was good to get it out of the way, and it was good. I've listened back to. I mean, annoyingly, I filmed it, but we're in shadow the whole time. You can't see us.
Oh,
I didn't think about that because so yeah, you can't see our faces.
What, you could only see the projection or something?
You can see the shadow of us, but everything else is in, because it was quite dark in there, and I never realised. I should have put that angle poise lamp up a bit. Never thought about that. So I might be able to do something with it to lighten it, but and then I've had a quick listen to the audio. The audio's fine. Vocals seem a little bit too loud. Was it?
It was okay in the room. No, that
good.
wasn't noticeable in the room.
Good, because I mean it was more important that you could hear the vocals, because there's nothing worse than vocal's been too quiet in the mix, really.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. The only thing vocally was maybe a little bit dry. I think because there was no sound check. I think she didn't get time to treat her vocal. That was the only
thing. I put
a
little bit of reverb on it, but it probably wasn't enough. That's interesting. Yeah, because I can hear the.
It's a minor. It's a minor comment that only.
I mean, everything went through my L6, so. I was mixing it live, really. To be fair, we'd mixed it in rehearsal, is how we'd done it. I'd set it and then set one of the settings, because you can set the settings on a Zoom L6.
Oh, okay, so you can do a recall on it.
You can do a recall. So I did the recall, and I was live mixing what I was playing so that it was trying to blend it in with everything else that was going on, really. But going forward, it will be different. But no, it was a good.
And what's the film sample you used? I guess there's a film called "Look Stranger." Is that where the title comes from?
No.
So what was the film sample?
There was two samples actually, and I'm quite prepared to. So the name "Look Stranger," because amazingly, here we are in the southwest, and Louise is half an hour away from me in Corsham, but she's from my hometown of York, so we're both Yorkies. So we needed a name that actually had a reference to York. And the reference is that it's a poem by W.H. Auden called "Look Stranger," who is also from York. So that's where the name came from. There has been another band called Look Stranger in the past, but they're not anymore. So the first sample, the Look Stranger bit, which I created by taking it off a record, but that is W.H. Auden himself starting his poem. So he goes, "Look Stranger," and I think it's not a long poem. It's about a minute and a half. But I didn't want to use the whole poem. I only wanted to use that. The second sample, which is from Brassed Off, which is Ewan McGregor.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's Ewan McGregor and Tara Fitzgerald, I think, doing the thing about about being down the pit and the band and and management and all that sort of stuff, which we always quite like that. And Louise was really up for that. She went, "We need to do more of these." So we are looking for more film type thing or TV show type things that we're going to put in between songs, but they have to be.
Yeah, no, it works.
They have to be northern. So we have to have a northern element to it. And
I suppose there's plenty of them, though.
There are as we go forward, yeah. And the other thing is, we've decided if we add any other members of the band, they have to come from York. So
that's the criteria.
So everybody, not Yorkshire. No, we're not having anybody from Leeds. They have to come from York. So that's going forward. I mean, how bizarre is it that you both end up in the southwest, and we could be both come from York, So, but yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much it. And then obviously last night I went out again. So I've been out a lot lately, and so back to the Treehouse. And I'm struggling to mention this band's name, but let me try. So they're Anne Danis Dub, right?
Okay, I saw them advertised. Yes.
Yeah. So you'd love them. They're definitely in your wheelhouse. They were
up
great.
Tempo, bouncy.
Yeah, dancey.
Are they a bit like Dread? I imagine they're a bit like Dread Zone with a Gaelic twist. Is it? Are they a bit Gaelic? Is there a bit of yeah?
They were using. I mean, it was a full band setup. They have they had a female singer as a sample, and they had other bits and pieces like other bits of guitar and things like that. But they had a guitarist, bass player, drummer, violinist, and then the flautist who also sang and obviously did other bits and pieces. They were great, and I would definitely go see them again.
But they're pulling in the Levelers crowd, that kind of vibe.
They were, and it was sold out. It was full,
right.
So it's about 100 people.
Nice.
And the first, there was a sort of support. I don't know who they were, but they had a DJ who was just playing dub music for the first hour and a bit, which was brilliant and really warmed everybody up, really. And they had these three people sat at the front, one with the violin, one with guitar, and an oboe or clarinet, and they were sort of playing along with the records, which was quite interesting. Just jamming really, but they weren't actually introduced or anything. Now, the negative of it was, I mean, we know that dub music, the bass is really heavy, right? First 3 songs were great, balance was really good, and I think what happened is, I think the bass player turned up, and obviously he should have been mic'd up, but the guy at the sound desk couldn't do anything about it. The bass was so heavy and so loud that it literally was vibrating everything, and it detracted from the songs really, because it was the loudest thing in the night, and it was like that for.
And you need to feel it. You need to feel it. It shouldn't be overwhelming.
Yeah, and it was over. I mean, Jane actually thought she might have to go out at one point because she was very sensitive to that, and it sounded a bit of a mush with the bass, really.
And as you say, the sound guy couldn't do anything because he was coming from the amps on stage.
I think that's what happened, is that he just turned up. Like, you do get musicians that do that sometimes. They turn up on stage.
They don't even want to hear themselves. Yeah,
yeah, and it was dominating way too much, really. You could hear the violin, and you could hear the flautist when he played. You couldn't hear the guitarist at all.
Yeah, so pulling or sucking all the bottom and the middle out of the sound by the sound of it.
Yeah, the only guitar you could really hear was when he played electric guitar, not acoustic guitar, and you could hear the guitar on the backing track.
Right.
But they as a band, they were absolutely superb. They were absolutely got everybody going. Played for about an hour and a quarter. Really good night. Definitely go see him again. I actually want to see him in a bigger venue. I want to see him in the main cheese and grain venue, because I think they should probably fill it. They'll be touring again next year. They've got a couple of gigs coming up and down the country, but the proper tour is next April, May time. So
that's like the sort of thing you'd catch at a festival, right?
They're playing festivals. They've got one festival coming up, I think, but up at somewhere But they'll be great at a festival gig, So so that's my month. Apart from there was a whole episode about the Aesthetica Film Festival, which people can go and watch that or listen to it if they want to, really, because that was, you were missed. To be fair, I missed you, but it was good.
Well, I missed. We'll have to catch up properly and talk me through it. I missed sitting watching experimental movies all day. Right, it's a great way to.
It was, and I did go to
spend a cold month.
I did go to more talks this year than anything. And today's the last day to be able to watch the online festival, and I have watched some of it, not as much as I wanted to, really, because I've got tied up with doing other things.
They've shut that down pretty quick. It was open for longer last time. I seem to remember.
It was meant to be the whole month, and it was the whole month, really. So it's from 5th to.
Okay, it just felt longer, but
yeah. I have watched some, but not as much as I wanted to, really. But it'd be great to go back and do it again. It was fun, really.
Good.
So, shall we get on to main topic?
Before we do main topic, then, why don't we just tip while we can? Obviously, some musical icons have passed recently. Manny from Stone Roses. We should talk about him.
I mean, I never liked the Stone Roses, but I always thought that him and Rennie were a brilliant rhythm section.
Yeah, I mean, important part of some iconic tunes, right?
I mean, and whenever I saw them, they were the guys that I watched. I wasn't so bothered about. I mean, I never thought Ian Brown had a particularly good voice, if I'm honest. But I always thought what they did really was instrumental to the band, really.
Yeah. Then he went on and played with Farmer Scream as well. But iconic.
Yeah.
Some definitely iconic bass riffs. And another one as well, Jimmy Cliff. Obviously,
yes, I saw that.
There's quite recently, 81, I think he was, 80 something.
Yeah.
He was. He helped reggae go mainstream in the UK. He came over to London in the 60s, signed to Virgin.
Yeah.
Before Bob Marley, right? He was there before kind of Bob Marley. In loads and loads of hits, right? Wonderful World, Beautiful People, Many Rivers to Cross. I can see clearly now. You can get it if you really want. I mean, people only need to say the lines of the songs and you sing them automatically, right?
You do, yeah.
You just hear the melody in your head when you just read the song title. So pretty iconic. I think he was in the movie as well, wasn't he? The Harder They Come. They made a movie, didn't they? I think in the 70s.
I've never seen that.
That he was in. I might go back and watch that. But
yeah,
definitely a legend. A legend. So, just thought, tip out to that. We always say that there's a whole thing, isn't there? As people pass, you talk about how great they were rather than how good people are when they're alive.
Yeah. But, and we do need to do because I think last time we did these two episodes ago, you said about doing one about people while they're alive, picking iconic people. So
let's keep it in the bank.
We should do that, definitely. Yeah.
There's a couple of notable absentees, I guess.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yes. But Manny wasn't that old, was he? Because he's
63 or something. I guess he partied. Yeah, I guess he partied hard, right?
Yeah,
he had the look of somebody that party hard.
Let's face it. When Ozzy Osbourne passed, you half expected it 10 years earlier to some extent, because
Indeed.
for him to be kicked out of the Black Sabbath for doing drugs seems quite. I have been watching Celebs Get Me Out of It. It's quite interesting. Jack Osbourne is an interesting guy.
Oh, his son's on it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I don't watch it.
He's been telling stories about. I'd forgotten that his grandfather was Don Arden, who was this music guy in the 60s, and he was basically just a criminal. He was just a thug. And the story's like he actually would hang artists. If an artist wanted to leave him, he would hang them out the window till they signed the contract and stuff like this. He was in with the craze and all that sort of stuff. So main topic. So like I said, this came out of Jane saying about pointing me in this article about the AI use of the BBC. Before we get onto that, it is worth mentioning. I don't know whether there was this band in the summer who called Velvet Sundown, and that
was completely AI generated, wasn't it?
Completely AI. They'd done 2 albums apparently.
Yeah, and it was charting and everything.
Yes, so a million plays on Spotify. Yeah, right, okay. So they were that was. I mean, I did hear. I'm not going to play it, and I haven't listened to it since. It was sort of okay. It was a bit
very generic, though.
Yeah, it was.
By definition.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of
But then a lot of music is. Let's
face it. A lot of music is generic. Yeah. I mean, it said this is the Guardian article I've got. It was I'll put a screenshot in, and it does say that. Similar to country folk of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Now, I only heard a snippet of a song and thought it does sound a bit countrified, but it's not actually cutting edge, is it? To some extent. But interestingly, before we get onto the BBC thing, literally, I think yesterday, that great YouTuber who constantly fights against the copyright strike business, Rick Beato, dropped a video about this exact topic and about.
Okay.
And I'm going to play a little bit of it because it's better to get Rick to the whole video is about 8 minutes, and it's definitely. I'll put it in the links down below. It's definitely worth watching, but I'll share my screen and then we'll just play a little bit of the beginning where he talks about AI music, because it's all about that. So let me just share sound. It needs to be that one. So you can probably see that. Yeah.
See the Guardian. Yeah, see the video. Yeah.
There's good old Rick. So you should be able to hear this. So I'll play just the first couple of minutes. So.
Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you who I think has already won the AI music race and why. Okay, so if you go to the App Store right now and you look up the most downloaded music apps, you'll see Spotify as number 1, YouTube Music Number 2, Shazam, which is basically like a search thing. If you're hearing a song in the mall and you want to know what it is, you hit Shazam, it'll tell you what it is. And then the 4th is Suno, the AI music app. Now, recently there have been some big announcements regarding AI music. The first is that...
Did you know about Suno?
No, not heard of it.
No, me neither. I didn't know this until I saw this, but I'll let him carry on a bit.
UMG and Udio have partnered after settling a copyright lawsuit, creating a new music AI platform. The new platform launching in 2026 will be trained on licensed music from UMG's catalog, providing revenue for artists and songwriters. It doesn't say anything about the label because you know that most of the money will actually go to the label. The original Udio platform will be altered and the existing users will be transitioned to a new model which will have different terms of service and features such as the ability to create music in the style of participating UMG artists. And next, in the past week,
So UMG, for people that don't know, is Universal Music Group, who, you know, I mean, you just go on, and it's definitely worth watching the whole video. I'll stop sharing now. I mean, my initial reaction was I'm quite appalled, to be honest. That, you know, I was hoping that the music industry was gonna, you know, we weren't going to go down this road. I mean, he does go on to say about, you know, that what you will have music in the style of the Beatles or Kendrick Lamar or, you know, other big, maybe even Taylor Swift, you know, so that you'll be able to not listen necessarily to that artist, but actually to be able to listen to slop music that is in the, you know, is like that, which I just think is absolutely appalling. You know, I mean, it's not, we're not talking about anything to do with the grassroots, and we will come on to that, but I just think that this is not the way. I mean, and why am I not surprised that Universal Music, you know?
But you know what I think the audience is? So I think AI is like just a snore anyway, right? It's just bored of AI, schmai. But I think I can imagine what they're doing. The usage here, I think, is for parts of the world that they haven't tapped into. So I think in the let's say the West, right, that we've been listening to music for 100 years or more, that's saturated anyway, right? Everybody's got access to however they want to hear. I think the reason why they're doing this with AI slop, as you call it, is to hit those countries and nations that haven't got all of that. So it's a lot of the developing countries in Asia, in Africa, that maybe haven't got access to that and do want to listen to computer-generated simulations of Fleetwood Mac. I think that's what they're trading on. I think there's an audience for it. It'll be low cost, right? It's zero cost for them, and it'll be a low cost subscription model.
So it's about major record labels making more money than they already do.
And I think they'll be pushing it into regions that don't want to pay $9.99 for Spotify, but they will pay $2.99 for Shitify. It is, the AI version.
I don't say that you're wrong, but I think we're going to see it. They won't just do it in those countries. They'll
no. But that's why they're doing it in the first instance, though, right? To make money from countries they can't make money of it. It's only for profit. No one's truly benefiting from it.
Yeah. So it's quite depressing, really. I mean, I've been quite positive about AI to a certain extent in terms of it speeding up workflows. Like a good example would be me mastering a track or an album. Then there are now AI tools in Ozone that I'm using, which helps speed things up a bit. I still have to be there to actually finish the damn job off. So.
I mean, Ozone have been doing that for a while, and I think they openly say,
and
they give you a base to start from.
Yeah,
so they'll analyze
exactly what it is. I mean,
they'll give you a starter, and then you tune to taste based upon your preference and your ears.
Yeah, I moved from Ozone 9. I probably said this before. Apologies if I have listeners, viewers. I used Ozone 9 for a long time, and I would start with the the AI version, the assistant, mastering assistant, and usually end up taking out practically everything that it suggested. I didn't do that when I did the last album, was the Azimuth Till album, because it got a lot closer, So I think AI is really good for those sort of tools, but to have a whole genre of music based on the Beatles that AI is generating. And he does go on to say that artists in Nashville rather than doing demos, they're doing a very quick vocal and guitar demo and then getting AI to flesh out the song.
The rest.
Now, is that right to some extent? And my other point is that the latest version of Logic has. I don't think this is necessarily AI, but there are some new tools in there. So you have a keyboard player, you've got a bass player, and it will generate. You play the song without those parts, and it will then you tell it what the chord changes are. You have to tell it what the chord changes are. It's not identifying them, and then it can create a bass line which you can then modify to a lot, having messed around with it quite a bit. And I will continue to use that, but I don't necessarily think that's AI. But the next step is for Logic to bring out an AI bass player and a keyboard player, and embed that into the program.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why AI is always so prominently in the news.
That's marketing. That's media marketing.
Well, it is because it's just advancement of technology, right? Where do you draw the line? So if you think, people went to digital recording studios 40 years ago, right? The first sampling record was in 1971, I think, right? We've been sampling for more than 50 years. And I'm sure there were previous versions of you and I, not in a podcast. We were probably down the working men's club, sucking a pint of bitter, right? Going, well, sampling, it's dead now. Musicians are dead, right? So, you had sampling.
Drum machines are killing, drummers won't be able to get a job because there's a drum machine.
Yeah, you had the 808 and the 909. They were, because you didn't need drummers, but actually they spawned a whole new genre of music, right? The 303, that was meant to replace the bassist, and look what that did. That invented acid, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you got VSTs, you've got ARPs, right? All the synths that came out in the 70s and 80s and still now have all got ARPs, right? Where do you cross the line? Where is it too much? Do you know what I mean?
I think the fact that
you can't have it all, right?
No, I think the fact that I create a song, I write a song, be it on piano or guitar, I've created a song, and then if I can add other instruments, I mean, I'm not the world's best bass player. That's why I tried the bass player. I mean, I've got a bass up there, but actually, so it was quite good for me to mess around with the bass player in Logic and actually be able to actually think, actually, that's pretty good, and you can, it's all in MIDI, so it can all be tweaked, and it's only to some extent that's already what we're already doing. I think the bigger issue is just me doing a rough demo and then getting AI to create the whole bloody song,
Yeah. I guess you could argue, you could go back probably only as far as 25 years ago, and decent session musicians earned a good living, right?
Yeah.
You'd go around, someone, big name artist would be recording an album, and they'd call in session musicians, they'd call in a decent bassist, percussionist. Look at the Beatles with who was the guy who played all the roads and everything on the Beatles?
Billy Preston, their piano player.
There's people like that made a very good living. I suppose that is now, not only is it hard to be an artist and write and perform and even try and make money, but if you're a session musician, how'd you get those gigs now going into a studio? You don't.
Because Logic, I mean, actually, I think Logic actually calls it session player. So it's session. Right. It's a session bass player, session keyboard player.
There you go.
So they're already doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
And I think people will be. It will. There is a point where it's too much. Because some of it is very. Is user. You are able to do things in your own space now that you could never dreamed of doing. You would need thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of money, whereas you can make something pretty credible on an iPad, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But it will go full circle. I think the AI bubble will burst. I think people, underground music is making a bit of a comeback. You've been to a few gigs recently, sold out, 100 people in a little town like Frome, right? It is coming back. People are still flying the flag. I think it will evolve.
The band was so appreciative of the fact that everybody was there. The fact that everybody paid £17. Well, actually, we hadn't paid £17.50. We paid £19.50 because of the extra charge from the cheese and grain. But the fact that we paid less than 20 quid to go and see them on a Saturday night above a pub in Frome, and they were just so made up, and it was a really great night. And I know that the EMOM thing is helping grassroots music in a much bigger way, and it is just slightly worrying when you have somebody like Rick Beato who's got a very large audience on YouTube, and we've got a piece there about the fact that the future of AI music. And actually, it's worth mentioning artificial intelligence. There is no artificial intelligence in AI music. It's algorithm driven every time. So there's nothing particularly creative there. They're just I have said recently, I think that AI should be, or ChatGPT, things like this, need to be taught at primary school, because you have issues of kids, not only kids, but, further education, higher education, they're all using these tools, but they are plagiarizing, and they don't know that they're plagiarizing. And what you need to do is you need to be able to teach at a very early age how not to plagiarize, for written work and but other work as well, and it's a big problem for schools and colleges and universities now across the world, but particularly we're seeing it here, because I've been having conversations with people that work in education, so it's AI is here to stay as a time-saving tool. It's excellent. You have to don't believe a word of what it says. You have to spot. You have to line check it if it's written something, Yeah. But the tools are going to get better all the time, really. Shall we talk about the poor old BBC? Now, let's face it, the BBC have had a bit of a rough ride the last few weeks with Mr. Yellowface threatening to sue him for £1 billion. I have to say, just before we get onto the thing about the AI thing, that we pay our license fee, but actually, if Trump takes the BBC to court, then and there is a court case, we will be getting rid of we'll not be paying our license fee anymore, because there is no way on earth that court case should go ahead, because that is public money that that shouldn't be happening. And apparently Keir Starmer had a conversation with him. Well, that didn't go anywhere, did it? Because the court case he's still threatening it, So and just as a side note, I don't think Tim Davies should have stepped down. That was not. He should not have resigned because of that. The people that should have resigned is the editor and the producer of Panorama. Those are the people that should have gone, and I don't believe they have gone. I think they're still there.
It's all just deflection anyway, right? Don't look over here, look over there. Look at the UK. They're constantly peddling stuff about the UK, that it's crime ridden and it's not safe and all that sort of stuff, just to detract from their own inefficiencies. It's just
the poor people, the poor friends that I've got that live in America. I do feel for them living in that country. We've got our own problems, but it's a lot worse over there. When I was listening to a podcast the other day, and somebody said, if you go to America and you've been anything that you've said online about the president, take a burner phone. So don't take your normal phone, because they will take it off you and they will look for material on there. So it's highly unlikely. It's it is what it is. But you're right, it's deflection. So the
it's all about it's all a bad movie. It's all a bad movie. The world run by Trump, Putin, and one or two others, just because they think they're powerful.
And it's about them filling their own pockets. We know that. So,
his time will come.
Yeah, it will. So this was a little article. It was big. It was earlier this month. I've got the article here from Music Radar, but it was also covered by the BBC themselves, covered it, and Rolling Stone covered it. So this was the BBC music introducing in the Midlands, I believe it was. BBC.
It was, It was radio. Yeah, BBC Radio West Midlands. Yeah.
West Midlands, right?
Yeah.
So they had. So the BBC came under fire for featuring an artist who used AI on one of its BBC introducing shows. Okay, so the artist in question is somebody called P.P. Lemore, who appeared on the BBC's introducing show last Thursday. I'm not sure quite when. This was early the month, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks back, I think.
So a couple of weeks ago. So, and his track but he came on to discuss how he made the track, and he fessed up and said that he made it with AI. But they did get it. He did get played, and then another artist, a Brummie songwriter called Molly XO, criticised the decision of featuring that music and said it was a BBC scandal. Discuss.
Yeah, so the guy he's not a musician by trade. He basically had some lyrics. I think he said he was inspired by the kind of monthly Black Awareness Week or something.
Yes,
I think he'd watch a lot of stuff on the BBC, and he wrote some song lyrics and actually went to AI to turn it into a song. So he was very open about that. He's got no particular designs to be a musician. How it then ended up being highlighted or spotlighted, as they call it, for BBC introducing, I don't know. And whether it was intentional to put AI into the conversation, possibly. I suppose when you think, what do they say, about 15% of all music on streaming platforms is AI generated?
Something like that.
So,
now. It's,
So if
particularly on
the
Spotify,
BBC, So if BBC introducing is across many regions in the UK, right? They've got a Southwest one, a West Midlands one. I'm sure they've got a Yorkshire one.
They have a Yorkshire one.
They run it every month. So to have one artist that AI generated music, I think is the correct ratio in terms of the amount of AI music is spinning out there, right? It doesn't mean it's right, but I think it enabled the conversation, allows people to have a voice. And as we said, where does the line end? Where does it? He wanted to make a song, right? He had some lyrics. He wanted to make a song, and he turned his hand to the computer to make the song for him.
I mean,
it's not a crime, is it?
No, it's not a crime. And I have to say, like I say, he fessed up. He was honest about it, which is fair enough. And it has started the debate, which is good. I mean, there's a bigger debate that, I've said it before on this podcast and probably others. The BBC don't do enough for grassroots music. I mean, and the BBC introducing part of
that is the funnel for that. That is the funnel. You're right. That's
is very, very. It's very difficult to get your track uploaded to it, because I've done it in the past and gave up because it's too much. It's too much hassle. It shouldn't be that much of a hassle to submit your music to a public funded broadcaster. And I've done sessions with BBC Radio York and the one in Hull, where they've had us in as artists, and that's great when they do that, when you've got the little local radio, the BBC version, actually having local artists in and performing live, so I am critical of the BBC about certain things, but I don't want the BBC to disappear. I listen to shows on BBC Sounds, mainly on Six Music and Radio 3, and those sound. I mean, the Freak Zone by Stuart McConey on Six Music, is a brilliant little show, which takes a lot. Apparently, takes a lot for him to create. I can't even say the word. for him to actually put it all together, because the music that he's using is so left field on occasion, and he's said that just because I do this, and it takes a bit longer to do than a normal radio show, other smaller radio stations should be doing exactly the same sort of thing and playing left field music. I mean, Radio 3 do it as well. They've got a couple of shows,
and some local radio does, but I guess a lot of local radio does, but it doesn't get the reach.
So much local radio is hits of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Really, which I know there's an audience for that, but there's also there's a smaller audience for other stuff as well, Yeah. So, BBC introducing, I don't think is necessarily fit for purpose. I'd like to see them do something more with it. And I think, I don't know how you combat the AI thing, really, it's difficult.
No, and I think just building on your point there, that you shouldn't knock the BBC in terms of what they do. They've got BBC Sounds, they've got the iPlayer, lots of dedicated radio stations. So if you want Radio 1 bangers on a Friday night, you can have that. If you want 6 music, you want Radio 2, 3, 4, you name it, right? They do everything, right? They're probably still the only channel that still do music shows, right? MTV doesn't exist in the UK now; that's gone away, right?
No, MTV's gone on it, more or less.
Yeah. So they still do music shows. Jules Holland is at series 67. I looked up this morning.
I don't watch
it's still
it.
Going strong since 1992.
Yeah. And I used to watch it. I mean, I should watch it because
and he has a diverse set of people. There's always a household
agree.
name, but then there's people that are breakthrough. He is giving people a platform that are on the way up.
Yeah.
It's always a good show.
They're up and coming. Some of the artists that there's no grassroots artists on there, and you could argue we could probably do with a grassroots show, on TV. It wouldn't probably be on the BBC, to be fair. It might probably be on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some out there.
I mean, it's interestingly, I watched, and somebody put it on YouTube. There was a program in this. I think it was in the Northwest. It came out of Manchester. It was called So It Goes. So this is the 70s, right? Hosted by Tony Wilson of Factory Records.
I can say, was it Tony Wilson?
Yeah. And I watched.
He had many incarnations of that, didn't he?
And somebody had put up this one particular episode, and it had the episode with the Sex Pistols on. So the Sex Pistols at this point were unsigned, right? And Tony Wilson on that show, and he had the show because he was a Northwest presenter on like the evening tea time shows, and it was a spin-off thing. But he was championed on unsigned. I think all the 3 acts that he had on that show, they were all very diverse. One punk band, one was a country act, I think, and somebody else. All of them were unsigned, so it was like an unsigned show, And there is there needs to be more of that. And it was quite entertaining watching the Sex Pistols.
Well, I think that's when there was regional TV, wasn't it? Granada.
Yes.
We used to have Central in the Midlands. So I think they had their budgets and could do that and could showcase the regional talent. But, that's disappeared as well, right? I suppose a lot of it is online, isn't it? I suppose, how do you create that network online? There's probably some people doing it.
It would be on YouTube and maybe. I mean, the people with money now are companies like Netflix. Now I don't know whether, because Netflix is a big American company, whether they would be interested in doing that sort of thing. But it would be quite good to have more of that sort of thing, really.
Or something like the Treehouse, or even the Cheese of Grain, or those. There's a diminishing number of live venues left, but actually, if they had half decent recording equipment and had their own channel and could stream or at least post stuff, that'd get. You mentioned a couple of acts you've been to see. I think it'd be great if I could go to YouTube and watch back that concert. It wouldn't stop me from going to seeing them again, right? No, you could even pay. You could even pay to play, right? You could, I don't know, sign in and donate a couple of quid or something like you would a Bandcamp. Why not?
And it's worth mentioning there is a YouTube channel called Emom Streams, run by Lee. And he goes to He goes to EMOMs and he films it, and then he puts it up. He'll put it up live if the Wi-Fi is good enough in the venue. If not, he will record it, because he recorded the ones that when we did the EMOM festival in Leeds. He did that, and he is prepared to go up and down the country when he can. When his work allows him to, and he has been down to the south. He hasn't done the Wells one yet, but he's done.
He did the Bournemouth one, the one we did just before
he?
Christmas.
Yeah.
No, before Christmas. When am I now? The end of September, I think it was.
In fact, we'll put the link to that in the show notes, because
that was very well done, actually.
Lee's he does a really, really good job, and they're always worth watching,
Yeah,
if you can't get to them. So. Are we done with that topic? Have we killed it? Have we put it to death?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I don't blame the BBC for doing that. It was one, you think of all of their content and everything they put out, right? It was one show in the Midlands on one feature. Yeah. You can't say that the BBC are turning their back on real musicians. It was one incident, right? They still do music festivals. They still do the live lounge. Still bloody songs of praise on every Sunday, they're still...
That's niche, isn't it? Songs of praise.
But people love it, though, right? Still going strong, right?
I've never watched an episode, if I'm honest, but there again. I'm an ex-Catholic boy, so,
But, they do 99.9% of other good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So.
And the BBC, it doesn't matter who's in government, whichever government's in, they criticise the BBC. And... yes, I'm sure there's quite a lot of waste with the BBC, and I have a big issue about the licence fee, and it should be a different model of payment. I'm happy to pay for bits of BBC that I watch and listen to. I'm not against paying for it, but for me, having to buy a license is the wrong model in this day and age in 2025, 2026. So I think that needs to go, but. I think we should be paying for, like we pay for Netflix. So why can't I have a subscription model like that?
Sure, but we also don't want to own a consumer world of media that's run by Murdoch, though, right? The BBC does try to stay impartial, and that's why people make a big thing of it, because of those media moguls want to knock it down because it is so good and it takes away their audience.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Anyway, we've done that to death.
We have done it.
Recommendations.
Actually, before we
I'm going to go and go. Yeah,
we've got Ask Ian.
Oh yeah, I've got a question lined up for you.
So
Ask Ian first.
Okay, well, just while you're thinking about the Ask Ian, there was a cinnamon bun while I was back in York. I've not had cinnamon buns in Frome, because the only place I can get one is the other side of town, and I can't be asked to go and get one, actually. But I did I had about 3 while I was in York, and they were all a 3 out of 5 cinnamon bun. So
okay.
They were okay, but they were not great.
They weren't your Walthamstow finest.
They were not, and in fact, I will be going in. I'm going to a gig in Leeds, in London, in a couple of weeks. So I will be filling my cheeks full of Walthamstow cinnamon buns. In fact, I'll be bringing some back. I know I will. I'm there.
Put them in the freezer.
I'm going for 3 days, so it'll be at least one a day, I can tell you that. Yeah, so Ask Ian.
Yes, so as it's 1st of December, tomorrow, or by the time this gets out, Christmas number ones. So that's... you had the whole Lad Boy thing where they were doing comical songs, but 2023 and 2024, and very likely 2025, the Christmas number one will be Last Christmas by Wham.
Apparently, I heard that. It's got good odds, hasn't it? Yeah.
So it was number one the last 2 years, likely to make it a hat trick this year. So, do you have a go-to Christmas song?
I do, actually.
Oh, then.
Right. And I refuse to swear on this podcast. I use the F word, but there is a song called Where the F Are My Christmas Presents by a little old band called Letters to Cleo. Well, they were known in the 90s, I think, or 2000s. It doesn't get played anywhere apart from on my on my album. So Letters to Cleo. There is actually also, and I don't think I have a copy of it, but when I was in Ryan Sholo and the Bloody Marys, Ryan wrote a Christmas song, and actually it was pretty good, but I don't, there is a recording of it somewhere, but it was never released, so I'd love to get a version of that again. I quite like Phil Spector's Christmas record, if I'm honest, and so I would be more inclined to play that on Christmas Day, when the family's around, because playing one with the F word in doesn't really go down well with some of the relatives, I will give a shout out for E17's Christmas number one, which was Stay Another Day,
which wasn't even Christmassy.
Yeah, it's not even really Christmassy, and it wasn't written as a Christmas song. The only reason for that is that my dear departed friend who co-wrote that with them, Dom Hawkin, his family is still getting some roasts for that. So, so that, and every time while Don was alive, every time I heard it at Christmas, I would send him a text and say, "I've just heard your bloody song again. There's another £3." That would be my favourite Christmas song. Letters to Cleo.
What was the one by? I'm trying to look up the artist. I want to say the Go-Go's, but it wasn't the Go-Go's. That one.
Worthy rapping.
Yeah, that one.
That was. It was the guys out of Talking Heads, wasn't it? It was. Is it a Worthy rapping song or something?
No, not that one. It was an all-female group.
I'm obviously thinking of something else.
That
doesn't help.
It's just me going diddle. I'll have to find it. I want to say like the Go-Go's or something, but it's not the Go-Go's.
No, the Waitresses.
Was it the Waitresses one? Yeah, it rings a bell, something like that. Christmas Rapping, yeah, the Waitresses. Yeah, right. We were both right. We got there in the end.
Yeah, the Waitresses. Yeah,
that's the one I would. If I had to listen to a Christmas song, that would probably be the one I had to listen to.
I don't mind. I mean, I am the Grinch running up to Christmas, because I was in the office last Wednesday and they wanted to decorate the hub.
It's November.
I went, it's too early. I went, you guys can do what you want, but I'm not really going to get involved in this. I'm just going to come for a cup of tea and a piece of cake. I'm fine when it gets to Christmas Eve. And I'll
until Boxing Day.
Sorry, yeah.
Until Boxing Day.
But I do always
48
think that,
hours.
There is this expectation that Christmas, we always have to have a good Christmas. Now, there are people on their own at Christmas who don't have a good Christmas. There are people that, I lost my grandfather on Christmas Eve. I always think about Jack on Christmas Eve, and I always have a whiskey for him and my meal on Christmas Eve. And then that's all I do. But I remember Jack on Christmas Eve, because that's the day he died. Bless him. So Christmas, there is this expectation it's always got to be good, and it isn't always like that. Right, and actually, I've just looked up. So the Letters to Cleo song is called WTFM. Oh God, here we go. Let's try that again. Yeah, cuts. Yeah, bracket. So Letters to Cleo brackets. WTFAMP, close brackets, the Christmas song, or otherwise known as Where the F Are My Presents. So, nice. But definitely worth a listen. But don't
to be played on 6 a.m. on Christmas morning.
But don't play it when your parents are in the room.
Yeah.
So recommendations? What's your recommendations?
Mine would be. So unfortunately, my vinyl collection is growing and growing. I keep buying. I did say to myself, because I sold my record collection a few years ago when I left the UK, because I just thought I can't hump these boxes of records with me anymore. I was wild-eyed and bushy-tailed and full of the enthusiasm of going and living in another country, and got rid of them. So I was like, I'm not going to get back into buying records, but actually I have, and the collection is growing and growing. But it's a good way to make sure the artist gets
Absolutely.
Recompensed for their work. So one I've got, which I don't know if we'll see it because of my thing. Yeah, you can't see it the way my camera's working. There we go.
Daniel
Avery. Daniel Avery, yeah, his new album. Nice gatefold, which is nice. He's electronic artist. He's definitely up and coming. I listened to his last album. So his new album. It's lots of guest singers. It's 13 tracks. They're all it's electronic music, but they're all songs, if you know what I mean. They're verses, choruses. Yeah. They've got, they're telling a story. They're traditional songs in electronic format. He uses a lot of kind of it's kind of dark sounding, but a lot of synths, a lot of electronic drums. It's really good. It's mid-tempo.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of, a lazy comparison would be putting it in the Massive Attack.
All right.
Kind of sound loop. It's in that kind of vein, right? If you like Massive Attack, down tempo, thoughtful music, that grows on you, and then it's definitely worth a listen. He's playing live early in the new year. I'm going to go and see him. He's only doing like Brighton, Birmingham. He's not doing anything around here, but I might go. But I really like it. It's a really nice album. So stick it on your Apple Music and then go and purchase it if you like it.
Yeah, good stuff. Anything else?
Yeah, that's about it. It's been listening to a lot of stuff, but that's the standout one, I think, really, over the last couple of weeks.
So I've got a few. I've always got a few. So I recommend. I bought, like I said, the 2 Semantics albums when one from his gig, and actually the same thing about buying I actually should have bought an album last night, but didn't. But I probably need to go on their Bandcamp and buy it. But so I bought the 2 Semantics albums. They're definitely worth a listen. I saw an advert for this, which you probably can't see it. So this is the Young Knives, right?
Oh yeah, they've been very present on social media at the moment.
Yeah, and actually, what it is you buy you get the album for free, but you pay £4.50 for the shipping, which is all right. £4.50 to ship that is ridiculous, but I get it really. And actually, it's like a compilation of all of their stuff from their early days right the way through, and it's really it's bloody good actually. I'm not a massive fan. They're almost a little bit too proggy for me,
right?
But it's a good album. Next, I've stopped my subscription to Electronic Sound, but this month is the month where they give away a double CD. Well, they don't give it you because you pay for it, but so the double CD this month is brilliant, and it's Cold War electronica. So I just bought it off their website. They are also having a Black Friday thing where they've got some of their CDs and their vinyl are cheaper than they would normally be. So if it's definitely worth a look. It's a good magazine. It's just that I stopped subscribing only because it's actually quite expensive. It's about £140 a year, which was an expense that I just at the time I couldn't. You get a vinyl. You get a vinyl single for most editions. Yeah,
the little flexi ones, aren't they?
But actually, I wasn't really. I was listening to them once and then filing them away. So I quite like. I'll continue to buy the ones when they put a double CD, because I am still probably buying more CDs than records.
I tend to buy Electronic Sound if I'm passing through an airport or a train station or a.
And last but not least, a couple of self-promotional things. Tomorrow on Bandcamp, you can download for free the Sinners Music 7 Deadly Sinners Volume 3. Okay? So I'm going to say who the artists are on it. So one is, we've got a track by The Strayfield, a track by Ranzi, who is our Australian artist, a track by me, off my last album, track by The Endless Sky, track by Tony Imperatrice, who's an American artist, a track by some band called Ramshackle. So
nice.
Bruton's best band.
Second
best band, because yeah. And a track by the Azimuth Tilt. So and that's free to download as from it'll be midnight tonight when I actually probably put it up, but it'll be available tomorrow. You don't have to pay for it, although it's nice when people, if you want it in your Bandcamp app, I think you have to pay 50p because otherwise it doesn't appear in your app. But and all subscribers will get it for free. I've got to put together a compilation of 3 albums for our subscribers who pay the £15 a month. So I'm doing that today after when we finish this. I haven't quite decided what's going, but anyway. And then last but not least, tomorrow. It's all happening tomorrow, 1st of December.
It is a big day.
There will be a December Audiophile Radio Show at some point tomorrow on all streaming sites. So apart from Spotify, I haven't recorded it yet. I'm recording it after this. So and it will feature those tracks from the 7 Deadly Sinners, along with loads of other great music which I've prepared. So that's all my recommendations for now.
Nice, comprehensive. No, plenty to get your teeth into there.
Absolutely, mate. So we need a proper catch up, don't we? At some point, because we haven't seen each other.
Yes. Yeah. Let's maybe have a coffee at Cheese and Grain or something at some point. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what's going on.
Right.
If you want us next Saturday, just upcoming, actually a bit of a plug. So next Saturday, so that'll be whatever the date is. It's the first on Monday, so it'll be the 6th. At Octopus Studios in Bruton, they're putting on a night which they call Bosh It On, which is basically as a guy sets up 2 turntables and you can bring your own vinyl and you can play your own vinyl. But there's also going to be a live band. There was Rachel, the lady that sang on a couple of our Sona Vida tunes. She's singing. So she's singing. So it's a new band, 3-piece. I think it's going to be their first gig. So I'm going to go down. They've asked me to do the sound for them, so I'll just run the mixing desk for them.
So what time does it start?
They'll probably be on about 9. I think it's usually doors open 7-ish. It won't be a late one. It's usually all done by 11. So if you're not doing anything, if you want to come down,
I'll talk to
James. Usually a good night down there with people into music. So we'll have a look if you fancy it.
What's happening? I know we're going to Bath next week, so we've got a day in Bath, but that's not on Saturday. And I have got Rosie's show in the afternoon, so
get in early if you're going to Bath. It's Christmas market time. It's deadly.
We're going Thursday,
right?
And I'm not doing Christmas markets. I mean, Jane's going to do the Froome one. I just don't do Christmas markets. So I'll go to
get out as quick as you can.
I'll go to the Dorothy House record and bookshop and live and stay there for the whole day because it's great. It's like a proper record shop. It's brilliant. Really.
Nice.
Looking at the vinyl. And probably end up buying vinyl as well.
No doubt.
So maybe I'll let you know about that anyway. But yes.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch and let's think about when we can grab a coffee anyway and have a proper catch up.
Yeah, good.
Thanks,
mate. See you later.
Bye,
everybody.
See you soon.
Bye.
See ya.
Sinners Music Records are offering 2 types of Bandcamp subscription. For £3 a month, you get 21 back catalogue albums and EPs, plus any new releases. And for £10 a month, you receive all their back catalogue releases, as well as a limited edition white label compact disc version. 3 CDs will be sent out each month of your subscription. You will find the link to subscribe in the show notes.